to make this film. It's like, well, I don't know if we're going to have enough money to shoot tomorrow, so, well, at least we can shoot today, so I might as well enjoy it, because this is what I spent my whole life working towards. So it's kind of this thing like, well, I'm going to worry about that right now at this moment, when they're all waiting to make this film with me in front of my face. Like, you just have to crack on with it, you know. And then you can worry about it later and have sleepless nights.
That's impressive. Yeah, and I know that there's probably questions in the room. I've just got like sort of 12 more questions for you, bro. I'm just kidding, yeah. But I think Josh will be around at the end as well, if you guys want to ask more questions. I wanted to talk about sort of the transition from making short form work to feature films. There's probably guys in the room who are, I think, wanting to make that first sort of feature film. What was the process like for you in that sense?
I think for me, what makes it feel more tangible is when you realise that the power is in writing the script. I think, you know, we all like collaborating with people. I always collaborate with people, but I think when you just take the power into your own hands, you kind of just make the film when you write it. So it gives you a bit of kind of psychological freedom, I think. I think that bridges the gap a little. Like, oh, when I wrote my first feature, which I haven't made, I've shelved it. It was like, oh, like, okay, so I can write one, so I can probably make one. And I always had that mentality that it's like, in all honesty, like, how are you going to get there? You probably just have to, like, just force it through. You just have to find any, by hook or by crook, make this film. When you hear those hero stories of people making features, stealing all the equipment from film schools or whatever, you know, whatever you have to do to make it, just find a way to make it. But it starts in the writing. The writing costs nothing. You know, you don't have to spend anything to write a feature. So I think then you can love the film that you wrote. Then you've probably got a better chance of making it. So that would be my advice, just like try and love a film that you write. If you don't write, I don't know.
I think we'll open it up very shortly. Just one last question. I think it's a question that I think is really interesting, because I think most people, when you're making your first feature, you're advised to shoot on, you know, ERA, shoot on a Blackmagic, shoot on an Alexa, something cheap. But you decided
like an array.
No, I call you out.
No, you're right. Digital. Let's say just call it digital.
But why film? Because I think that most sort of debut feature films, they try and save costs. But I think film, as you guys have seen, informs the language of this film. It elevates the film to this very ethereal, transformative experience. And film has that power. But why film? Because why film?
Tomasin, you know why. So, yeah, I mean, like, film is awesome. But obviously financially it makes no sense, it's completely insane. We were balancing fridges on top of boats with all the film in it, and, you know, like going up the Mekong. Ridiculous, stupid, idiotic, most stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. But it was like, well, you've got this like gold in this fridge, hiding on this thing, and it's like on top of, in that film is, potentially gold, potentially not. If you shoot a roll of film on your still camera, 35mm, and it might come back blank, it might come back, the high risk, high reward thing was of interest to me in that scenario. But also, it's like, digital would have been the safe choice, but I'm like, no, I never go for the safe choice, man. I'm just not interested in that.
Guys, I'm going to ask you to seek his short film work, which is online. Watch his short films, because you can see the evolution of his voice. So I'm going to open up for questions. Does anyone have any questions? There's a few in the front here. Do we have anyone with a mic? If not, I can just...
Be quiet. Oh, there's a mic outside.
I'm just going to calm down.
What's that scene?
Sorry. I want to thank you for making a very beautiful film. It's rare that I see a film... It's rare that I see a film that I actually enjoy every frame, both emotionally and visually, and it's a very hard thing to do. And I noticed there was a sort of peace, there was a quality in the film that I don't see in many films these days. Maybe I've seen the wrong films. And I was aware of the sort of Buddhist monk, thing going on. Was there an interaction happening between the place itself, the way that the place affected you, and the emotional quality and the beauty of the film. It seems unlike most films I see.
Thank you for your question. That's very kind. So, yeah, absolutely. I'll try not to talk about that for 20 minutes because, in all honesty, I could. The obvious stuff being beautiful people, beautiful country, and I have great friends out there that I really care about that kind of made me fall in love with the place more. Definitely the first time we went out there to make a documentary, we fell in love with the locations by just exploring it organically, and we took loads of film and we shot loads of film on stills, and I went back and spent hours in the darkroom printing them and just falling in love with the idea of making this film in this country whilst writing it. So from a visual perspective, it's just a stunning place, but it's really the people. It's the people that make it, and I can talk about them in so many different capacities for so long. And something I really want to say is that I'm really sad that I can't have all of them here for this world premiere because they made the film. I'm part of it, and that is filmmaking. It's a collaboration, right? And they're incredible, talented people, and they deserve to be here. But in terms of the location and the beauty of the location, and there's plenty of parallels in there in terms of the story and why we shot a film and all that stuff that is important and critical to the process of making it look like that. And also James's beautiful camera work. Also held up by our composer's incredible music because he lived lives in Bangkok, and it was, many accidents happened for us to work together, and that's why that reflects it so well as well, and he knows all the instruments. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that question. Any other questions? Can we just stay back there?
What about the language?
There we go, Mike.
The language barrier, was there a language barrier?
I knew someone was going to ask me about language stuff. Someone asked me in the bathroom. The real Q&A was in the bathroom. I always had a fascination with, obviously, other cultures and other languages and stuff. As a kid, I was obsessed with learning especially as a kid that was living in Wales. Obsessed with learning the Cherokee alphabet for no reason. I was I know the Cherokee alphabet off by heart. I was 8, I was okay. Hieroglyphics. I was really interested in just So I don't know how long I sit on those things, but it might be 6 months to a year, and then I'll move on to another fascination. But language barrier wise, I think that I'm so used to working in different countries. The last 2 years, worked in maybe 20 different countries and maybe at least 12 different languages. I'm very used to working in different languages, both commercially and more content and TVCs and stuff like that. So I like the challenge of that because it requires so much more around it to make it work. But in terms of doing a feature film in the Lao language, it's just loads of rehearsing, great team around you. My friend Lee, who was my first AD and helped me produce the whole thing. We're a pretty small team. Him and his entourage were my key figures in terms of translating it and making sure everything was on point. And we had a process where we had because we could shoot so little footage, which was the biggest that was always going to be the biggest thing. It's yes, we can fumble through getting things right, but having 3 takes and making sure that's right for someone that doesn't speak it fluently is we had to make sure we could go back and stuff. So we had a mounted phone the whole way through on top of our Arton, our old 70s French Arton that we refurbished, and we would record it with that, and we'd go back and we'd listen to every single thing, double check it in every single way we could with everyone, and we're it's either perfect or it's not, or it's I'll cut away there so it's okay, we're going to go to this, and then some kind of creative sound takes there as well to kind of cover our butts with our sound team. Manueli, who sadly can't be here, who was the 3rd person we took from the UK, who did all the sound. We'll talk about that another time because I can talk about it for hours. Go, sorry.
Thank you so much, man. Can we have just, a question? Yes. Mike is coming.
My question is, hi, thank you for the beautiful film.
Thank you.
You made me cry by not showing the tragic stuff, the dead rabbit, the dead mother, the grave. And I wanted to ask whether that was a decision that was made in post or already while writing. Did you film the scenes that didn't feel right in the end? That would just interest me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a cool question actually. So they're all different answers. So I think I don't like to show when things have happened because I think the imagination is more powerful than anything else you think. It's why when you read a book and then you watch the film, you hate the film, right? It's like, because the book is better because your imagination is stronger. Unless you have a terrible imagination, then the film might be better. So I think that you can be kind of smart with that and be playful with the fact that people's imagination is stronger. As long as they understand or come to the conclusion of what you need them to come to, if that's the story beat. But with the rabbit, I don't want to give too much away with that because it might break there. But anyway, yeah, obviously it's not a dead rabbit. If the sound guy was here, there's a clue. If the sound guy was here, then you'd know what is in the box. But with the mum, in terms of showing her death and stuff, I think that was just part of the technical play on kind of letting there be that reveal. Some people get it, some people don't, in terms of like, some people are like, Mother's going to be dead, I know Mother's going to be dead. But people don't get it, it's like, oh no, she's dead, you know. So it's like, you're never going to win one way or another, but if you can play with it, then it's fun, you know. And it's like, yeah, I think not showing stuff is obviously like pretty powerful if you can play it right, you know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I've got one.
Yeah.
I'll probably loud enough without a mic.
For the people at the back, for the people at the back, for the people at the back.
Thank you. I thought I might be loud enough, but I'm not.